Hi, my name is Riley. I'm 22 years old. I'm going to tell you a really tragic life experience and how I got through it. Before I get into the story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to show your support. I have a twin sister named Sarah. Ever since we were young, she was a spoiled brat. My parents used to favor her too. I was a quiet, shy kid, and no one really used to care about me. Sarah used to get a monthly allowance to spend on clothes, accessories, and all sorts of things, while I was told to use the clothes that she passed down to me and things that she no longer needed. My parents used to dislike me because I wasn't as outgoing as Sarah. Moreover, I had a soft spot for the servants and staff members, so I often gave them food and money. But this didn't sit well with my family. They wanted me to behave in a certain manner, and I refused to do that. Their indifference towards me only grew with each passing year, and at one point, I got used to it. They stopped bringing me to parties or family gatherings. In fact, one day, my mom said this: "Since you enjoy spending time with the servants so much, why don't you become one of them?" Sarah snickered. "Right, and we don't even have to pay her." Well, I was already reduced to that kind of state. I was living in the house and eating 3 meals a day. Sarah was the one who used to get all the love, attention, and money. A few months after my 20th birthday, my parents suddenly passed away in a car accident. I wasn't upset about it, but I was a bit shocked. It happened so suddenly. I mean, it was an accident, but still. Plus, Sarah started acting strange. I thought she was attached to Mom and Dad, but nope, she didn't even shed a single tear. In fact, her first concern after their death was her inheritance. "Oh, would you look at that?" she laughed. "They hated you so much they didn't even leave a single penny in your name." I was kind of expecting that. They didn't care about me when they were alive, so why would they want to leave me anything? "Good for you," I told Sarah. "You got what you wanted." She glared at me. "What do you mean? Do you think you can just keep living your life like before? Well, newsflash, I am not going to let you live here for free, and I will not pay for your college tuition anymore." My eyes widened. You can't do that. I'll get out of here once I get a job. Why are you making things difficult for me?" She shrugged. "Because I want to." "You want a job, right? I'll hire you." "Huh?" I gave her a confused look. She smirked. "I will hire you as my maid." Ugh, what the hell? "I would rather leave this house and sustain myself on part-time jobs," I said. "Really?" She started laughing again. "Have you forgotten that I have so many connections? I won't let anyone hire you, no matter what kind of a job it is. And as far as I know, you can't afford to leave this town. So, Riley, your best bet is becoming my maid." I didn't even have enough money to book a flight, but staying in this town meant that Sarah would constantly interfere in my life. And right now it looked like she was hell-bent on making me her maid. I had no other choice. I had to wait and plan something. And that's how I ended up becoming her personal maid. She would treat me like a slave the whole day and even at night. I was expected to sit beside her bed and wait on her. If I wasn't present for some reason, she would punish me the next day. I was helpless. I didn't have anyone in this world, and my parents hadn't left me anything. I had to do as Sarah pleased. Otherwise, I would be on the street within seconds. She didn't used to pay me for my work. Like old times, she would give me her worn-out clothes and leftover food. One night, I made up an excuse and went to my room. I locked the door and plopped down on the floor. I wanted to cry. This was worse than how my parents would treat me. What did I even do to deserve this? I was thinking about these things when I suddenly heard a voice in my head. You all must have heard about twin telepathy. Sometimes twins could communicate through telepathy. I had experienced this with Sarah when we were kids, but as our relationship became worse and we grew distant, the telepathy rarely used to occur. But that night, I could somehow hear Sarah's thoughts. She was thinking about the accident of our parents, and she kept obsessing over the car's brakes. Weirdly enough, it felt like she was satisfied about something. Soon, though, her thoughts faded away, and I was left with a lot of confusion. What was happening? Why was Sarah so concerned about car brakes? Did she have something to do with it? No, how was it possible? She couldn't go through with that. I forgot about it the next day. Making me a maid was not enough for Sarah, so she decided to humiliate me publicly. She called her boyfriend Ben to live with us so that he could witness how pathetic I was. She started bringing me everywhere she went, from parties to trips and everywhere else. I used to be at her beck and call, and she even introduced me as her maid to everyone. Once at a party, she ordered me to bring her a drink. I was about to give it to her when she suddenly blocked my way, causing me to trip. The drink spilled all over Ben's clothes. "What the hell?" Sarah shrieked. "Just how clumsy are you? Apologize." I'm sorry, Ben, I quickly said, hoping he wouldn't yell. "It's okay," Ben smiled. "These things happen. And Sarah, aren't you being a bit too harsh? Give her a break." "Ben, don't be swayed by her innocent face," Sarah scoffed. "She does these things on purpose." Then she turned toward me. "Go and help him change his clothes." I followed Ben to an upstairs room. He turned to me apologetically. "I'm sorry, Riley," he said. "Sarah is a bit cruel. But you don't have to worry. I'm not mad. You can go back home and rest. I'll cover for you." This was the first time someone was being kind towards me. I thanked him and went back home. Sarah kept finding opportunities to humiliate me in front of others, but Ben would support me. He even scolded Sarah a few times, but of course she didn't listen. Instead, she started accusing me of trying to seduce her boyfriend. I will admit it, I liked Ben, but I had no intention of seducing him. He was in a relationship with Sarah, and I didn't want to complicate things. We went shopping one day, and Sarah kept dumping piles of clothes into my hands. Within 15 minutes, my hands were so full that I could barely see. The salesgirl tried to help me, but Sarah asked her to back off. When she went inside the changing room to try on more clothes, I nearly lost my balance. The clothes fell out of my hands, and I was about to fall too, but Ben caught me just in time. "Are you okay?" he asked in concern. I nodded. "Thanks. Why are you doing this?" He cut me off. "Sorry? Why are you listening to Sarah?" "I hate seeing you like this," he said. I stared at him. "You shouldn't say such things. She's your girlfriend, and she won't like it if you feel pity for me." "I don't care," he said firmly. "I was wrong. I don't want a girlfriend like her." "Well, what do you mean?" I asked in shock. Instead of replying, he leaned down and kissed me. And well, I kissed him back. As I said, I liked him, and I couldn't hold myself back when he was saying such nice things. But soon I realized what I was doing, and I pulled away. "Oh God, we can't do this," I exclaimed. "What if Sarah sees us?" "What are you two doing?" Sarah's voice interrupted us. It seemed like she hadn't seen anything. Ben was about to open his mouth, but I grabbed his arm and shook my head, hoping he would get the message. I didn't want him to break up with Sarah now. Not like this, at least. Later that night, I called him to meet me in a park. "Why did you stop me today?" he asked me. "I don't like her. I want to be with you." "I feel the same," I confessed. "But before you break up with her, there's something I need you to do." "What is it?" "You're a lawyer, right?" I asked him, to which he nodded. "Then can you please help me look more into my parents' accident?" I pleaded. "I have a feeling that Sarah had something to do with it. A few nights ago, I heard her thoughts through twin telepathy. I didn't pay it much attention then, but now I feel like I should investigate this thoroughly." "To be honest, I was a bit suspicious too," he said. "I mean, she never even mentions her parents or doesn't even seem remotely sad. Isn't that a bit concerning? She owes everything to them, yet she doesn't seem to care." "Exactly," I nodded. "Since you're so close to her now, it would be easier for you to investigate the case. Please help me out, Ben." "Gladly," he smiled. After that day, Ben started looking for clues. Thankfully, Sarah had no idea about it. She even gave him her laptop to use. Ben showed me a video that he had found on her laptop. It was a recording of my parents. They were talking about how unfairly they had been treating me. Apparently, Sarah had started bugging them for property and inheritance. This made them realize that she only loved money, and now they were regretting their actions. They wanted to pass down the inheritance to me in order to make up for everything. This was enough proof to make me believe that Sarah had caused the car accident. Ben and I looked more into the matter, and Ben went through Sarah's contacts at the time of the accident. We found out that she had paid the driver to tamper with the brakes. The driver had later taken a leave, and my dad was forced to drive that day, and that's how they got into an accident. I still didn't like my parents, but I felt bad for what had happened to them. Ben filed a case against Sarah. Now I was the inheritor of my parents' wealth. Sarah begged for me to save her. "Please, I don't want to go to jail," she cried. "I will do anything you say, just don't send me to jail." It was too late for that, and why would I help a criminal like her? On the last day of her hearing, I wore a dress that she'd recently bought but never worn. Her eyes widened when she saw me wearing it. While she was getting arrested, I wrapped my arms around Ben and kissed him. She should have known. What goes around comes around.